Hello class, let's take a look at example 2, problem C and D. Now, the first problem that we're given, we simply have a multiplication, and what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to merge the fractions since you technically have one fraction multiplied by the second fraction. So this is just going to be 2xy times the values of 15, and then xy over 5 times 4, and then you have xy to the 7th, and then xy x to the 3rd power. Now, let me actually multiply all the x's and y's on the top. So you're just going to have 2 times 15 times in terms of the x's. And notice that on the top, you have an x and an x. So you're just going to end up with a x to the 2nd, and then your y's, you're also going to have, well, y to the 2nd. At the bottom, let me just rewrite it as 5 times 4 times, and among your x's, I'm looking at, well, this is x and x and x, so x to the 3rd to the 4th to the 5th. So I'm counting 5 at the bottom. This is x to the 5th. In terms of the y's, I'm looking at y to the 7th and another y, so therefore a y to the 8th. Now, let me take a look. So on the top, we should just have 2 times 15, x to the 2nd, y to the 2nd. At the bottom, 5 times 4, x to the 5th, and y to the 8th. Now, the next step in the simplification is going to be to combine your actual, your constants, and then also the x's and the y's. So let me cancel common factors for the constants. As we look at the constants, we're just going to have the following. So this is going to be 2 times 5 times 3. And I'm rewriting it in that format because there's a 5 at the bottom. And then the actual bottom, you're just going to have a 5 times 2 times 2. Now, this 4, I'm rewriting it as 2 times 2. And the 15 is your 5 times 3. Let's take a look at your actual x's. As you combine your x's, you're going to end up with 1 over x to the 3rd. That's because you technically have 5 at the bottom. And then as you combine the y's, you're going to have, well, times 1 over y to the 6th. So as we combine and cancel common factors, you can cancel the x's, you can cancel one of the 2's. So our final answer, it's going to be 3 on the top, and at the bottom you're going to have a 2, x to the 3rd, y to the 6th. So technically x and y, it's not equal to 0. Take a look. That's our final answer. For problem D, we have almost an identical problem. But what we're going to do here is technically take a look at, in this case, a division. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewrite the problem. This is going to be a 2xy over a 5xy to the 7. I'm going to automatically write it as a multiplication. So division is going to change to an actual multiplication. And then we're going to flip the fraction. So you're going to end up with 4 x y x to the 3rd, and at the bottom 15 xy. So let me combine all actual, numerical values. Nothing seems to be canceling now. So you're just going to get an 8 on the top. And then in terms of the x's, I'm counting the following x's. So x, and 3, 4, and 5. So x to the 5th. For our y's, I'm counting just 2. So this will be y squared over 15 times 5. So that's going to be 75 times your x's. I see an x here. Let me highlight them. I see an x here, another x. So I'm looking at x to the 2nd times y to the 8th. So our final answer, as we technically combine the x's, you still have to combine the x's and the y's. It's going to actually give us the following. So it's going to be 8 over 75. And then for your final x's, you're going to end up with x on the 3 on the top and y to the 6 at the bottom. As long as, well, y is not equal to 0. So that's going to be our final answer if the actual problem were to ask us to divide instead of multiplying.